Right. Hello. Welcome to this week's Extra Time. I'm joined, as always, by George. George, how are you?
Very good, thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. Cheers. And by West Ham Fan TV's Northern correspondent, Tony. Tony, how are you?
Very good. Very, very good. Very, very, very good after quite the opposite after the Liverpool game. Very good tonight. Yeah.
Indeed. I don't know if you've been keeping abreast of the news, boys. Obviously, in the Middle East right now, there's fear and panic. People are frightened to leave their house. Fear of walking down the street as Mikel Antonio and his Lamborghini have arrived in Qatar. Let's talk about our favourite Mikel Antonio memories. George, what's your favourite Mikel Antonio memory that he's given us in 10 years of service?
I mean, that Tottenham away goal, the 1-0, first goal at their new stadium. I was in the away in that day, and that was a moment for the ages. It really was. That away was going mental. But honestly, he's been a brilliant servant for West Ham. Obviously, our record goal scorer within the Premier League. And he was signed as a backup winger / right back from the Championship. And he was already, 25? So no one would have thought he'd do what he was going to do, did they? So he's been absolutely brilliant for us. And yeah, I just wish him all the best.
Tony, what about you?
I could be on air all night talking about Antonio. I absolutely idolised the man. I really, really did. Everything about the man, everything he did. Favourite moments, there's so many, but two I'm going to point out. And it was during such horrible times, and we were still wanting wins. And it was COVID times, and he smashed his 4 past Norwich. It was just unbelievable. It was so good. That's one. But there was another one, and it has to be one of my favourite, not only Antonio, all-time West Ham moments, but it's got to go down to Antonio because Antonio scored goal. And I couldn't get in the away end at West Ham when we played Leeds. I think it might have been 5 or 6 years ago. It would have been a while ago, 2021, 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was during 21, 22 season.
It was a tough game, and we played well, but so did Leeds. And they rode the luck at times. I think 4-0 just before half-time, missed the sitter. And it was one of them games. And I'm in South Stand up just above you, what? And we're terrified. They're a raucous bunch of them little Leeds. Being from there, I know them well. And West Ham in there, so they're great disguise, aren't they, with this accent? So that helps a lot. But I think it might be 90th minute. Eventually, Leeds are pressing, and we broke away. And I remember Declan Rice running with ball and playing it over to Antonio, and there's still a lot of work to do. And he just runs through, and they had a young, naive defender, I think, but the touch that he took past him and then put it into the bottom corner to keeper's left. And the fucking West Ham went mental, and I'm just trying to contain myself up in South Stand. It was just amazing. And that's so it's 100%. And you see excitement in me now. I'm reliving it. That's got to be. Other than that, all his little donkey rides and all his. So many of his celebrations, but it has to go down as Leeds goal at Leeds that beat Leeds.
Do you know what? My first one was with George. I thought the Tottenham one, but I've got two great memories. But coming back to both of yours, that Norwich game when he scored 4 was a rare week. I had a good one in Fantasy Premier League because I remember having Antonio for that. And then the Leeds away game, one of my mates got hit by a pound coin in a rare example of a Yorkshireman throwing money away. Do you know what? My other one that came to mind was the
again. Oh no, it's come back.
Oh, that's good.
Did everyone else's go, or it just mine?
No, just yours.
Right, I'm back.
The other one that came to mind with me was the first goal at London Stadium, that header against Bournemouth, when we almost started to believe maybe this is going to be the dawning of a new era. Maybe this is going to be the start of a great run into the Champions League, but alas, those false dawns and false promises. But we wish him well out there. We hope
definitely
that he prolongs his career. I'll be honest. I watched him some people know, I watched a lot of 21s. I watched him at the start of the season. We played Nottingham Forest 21s. And Tony, I played the first 45 minutes in that, and at that point, he looked like his football career was over. He was so off the pace, so easily marshalled by the Nottingham Forest under 21 defence, and I thought, oh, he's gone for him. He's done. So I'm so happy for him, and I'll be so chuffed for him if he makes his work. If he goes and reignites, he's not going to reignite his career at this stage, but if he goes and has one last golden spell, one last hurrah, as it were. Let's move on. George, we got battered on Saturday. That was a bad performance. Wolves then beat Liverpool on Tuesday night, and it starts to feel a little bit like maybe that result just got a little bit worse on the weekend. And I think, if we're honest, maybe that down the optimism a little bit ahead of Fulham. How did you feel going into the game?
I mean, so I said to my brother the day before, I was like you said with the Wolves Liverpool game, I was like, we've got to go to Fulham and do something, because we can't keep saying, oh, it's Fulham, they're a good side. Oh, it's Liverpool, they're a good side, etc., etc. You've got to go to somewhere where we're not expected to win and go and get something. And we have. We played. It wasn't the best performance, but I think we played really well in terms of heart, organisation, desire. It was brilliant. But end of the day, it means nothing if you don't go and do the same thing next week, because we're 9 games to go now. There ain't long to go at all.
No, it feels like, obviously we got 3 months, but when you look at it, it's just 9 games. But we'll come on to this in a minute. But we are now in a 4-team mini league, I feel, with Leeds, Spurs, Forest. We've only got to finish in the top 3 of that, and there's only 3 points separating. We're only 3 points away from Leeds. Leave the goal difference alone for a minute. 9 games to go. There's still time to turn that around. But we're only 3 points behind Leeds. And I think that's culture optimism.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've got to play Leeds last game of the season. So if you can make that gap 2 points to Leeds, then survival's in our own hands come the end of the season. Like it really is. Like you say, it's going to be so tight. I think it's going to be another 42-point season that might go down. I think it's really going to go to the wire. It's the most cramped this league's ever been. You've got a title race, you've got top 4 race, you've got a relegation race. It really is an open league this year.
Sorry, I was just saying that David called that. We're in we're in a 4-team mini league effectively now with Leeds, Forest, and Spurs. Definitely. 3 points away from Leeds. Ignore the goal difference, because there is time to turn that around. But that's culture optimism right now.
It definitely is. Spurs are shocking now. Leeds aren't shocking. They really battle. So I think Leeds are going to end up, I hope I'm wrong, but I think they might end up safe. Forest look all right. It's Spurs, They don't look good at all. We don't look too bad. Back to fan cam, I felt, I was sat with George, and, we're 3-0 down at half-time. If I'm honest, you get what you get in football. We don't deserve them. We scored 3 goals. There were bad goals. There were sloppy goals. And when you ship 5 in there's 2 deflections and an own goal, you're absolutely sick. But the overall play wasn't bad. But I just thought, we can get to them balls better and quicker. We might have got some out of that game. We were unlucky, George. You said that at times. We were. But Fulham last night, again, we battled away. But do I think we'll be safe? And where are we with this? The passion of that 11, they give what they can sometimes. But I thought we give a bit more and worked harder and played better yesterday. But at times, again, we give teams too much time on ball, and so that we compact ourselves so you're not going to penetrate us. And we did a good job at it, as happens last night. But I don't like the kind of football when you're not giving. You can't give players and let so many crosses come in, and you're playing. Then Are we a team that's not good enough to play these passes and move out well enough and just hit on break? And then we think we'll let teams come at us then and we'll knock it out and hope for somewhat long. We tried that a few times last night and knocked it long. And sometimes we weren't too bad at it. And then sometimes it's just coming straight back. I'm still like that, whether we're going to get out of it or not, because we're an injury two away. Fortunately, is Potts back? I think Potts will be back against City. And we need it. And I don't know how far Pablo is away yet, but we need these players because these were decent players for us. So we get them back in, and there is chance. And you know, my fan camp said we're relegated. Let's get our head out of his ass and accept this in a great escape. I'm going to backtrack on that now, because I think there is a chance here now. And you know, we go against City fit. I don't think we're definitely going to lose that game. The old me would have said that. So, Jesus Christ, it's a tough one, isn't it? I think Spurs might drop at the moment. That's how I feel. What are you two lads thinking?
Go on, George. I'll let you try that first.
All right, cool. The things I would do to see Spurs get relegated.
But do you think they will, George?
I mean, sorry, if you watch the fan cams, you'll know that I'm in a wheelchair. I would give up the chance to walk to see them go down.
Will you even piggyback, George? Give me a piggyback.
Sorry, mate.
Will you give me a piggyback?
Go on.
Even?
I'll jump on. I think it's going to be between us and Forest. I think Leeds have got enough. I think their atmosphere, and I think their points per game isn't too bad. That's going to get you up over the final 9 games. They've also got a 3-point head start on us. Yes, it's only 3 points, but in the context of it being so tight, it's massive. So I think it's between us and Forest. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't see Spurs going down.
8 goals as well. 8 goals, George in front. So it's like 4 points in front, Leeds.
I think you can discount. I think you can kind of discount the goal difference at this point, because 8 goals in 9 games it's a lot to overturn. You get a couple of 2-0 wins, have a couple of 2-0 losses, and it's white.
Yeah, I get you, George, on that. I get you that on that. Yeah, but so, it's a bit 8 goals. It's still a lot. It requires a few wins, maybe, and maybe 2 wins, and then 2 losses. I get what you're saying, but maybe 3 wins and 3 losses. It is a big one, and I think Leeds will be all right, like you said, George, because of goal difference, if needed. We'll find out, won't we? But it's going to be it's going to, as the traditional saying goes, it's likely to go wide as this one. It really is, because there's some. I mean, Spurs have to play Forest yet, so one of them two's dropping points there, and we have to play Leeds. Who do you think, Dave?
I think European football is going to have an effect on Forest, and I think eventually those extra games are going to tell. I think they got the Danish side next. Is it Midtjylland? Forgive my pronunciation if you're watching Danish, but I think that's another 2 midweek games where they're not getting rest, where the players aren't. At some point, that fatigue and those injuries are going to start to kick in for them, as well as the fact that they're on their fourth manager of the season. That's so. I still look at Forest and think they're the team that we need to overtake first and foremost. Obviously, if Spurs go, I feel nothing about Spurs, to be honest. I've got no love for them. I've got no hate for them. They're just Fulham or Brentford to me. They're on that kind of they're a London team, but I don't care too much for them either way. It's just funny when they go Spursy in it, but as long as we stay up, I find it funny. I would find it funny if they went down. I would laugh. I'd find it hysterical.
Oh, we'll be laughing. Oh my God, we will.
So they would have gone from playing Arsenal, Chelsea to playing Charlton.
That could be us, though. To be fair, we're not out of it yet. Let's not laugh. Let's wait until we've got something to laugh at before we start laughing.
Yeah, but the difference is, everyone knows we're crap. We always have been during my lifetime, barring like 3 seasons. Tottenham think they're this big club. They're not. You'll always be in Arsenal's shadow.
Yeah, but they've still got to drop the points, and we've still got to go go overtake them. I think they've got the easiest run of fixtures from what I can make out. I think I'd rather have their fixtures than ours. But they're just so off the pace. Like I don't think they can work out how to score goals. I don't think they can how to create anything.
They don't look like they want to win, Dave. They don't look like they want to win, don't Spurs? At least we're trying. We might be shit at times, and we might have the second at ball at times and his final passing, right? But they are shit at the moment. They play Palace tonight, don't they? And I think Palace will beat them. We'll see.
I don't.
But I just can't see where what are the points over the last 10 games? They hardly out. They've hardly got out, have they? They're poor. They're poor. Fans are on them. They're at home as well tonight, so that's good. I'd rather them be at home because they are toxic. And if Palace they play football well, they'll take it to them. I can't wait for it. I have a funny feeling in my bones it's Spurs who's going to drop.
Do you know what? I'm looking at this Palace team, and the defence tonight of Richards, Riyad and Cambo just isn't Premier League quality.
Yeah.
They're missing Lacroix. Obviously, they've lost Gay during the January transfer window. That's, from a side that won the FA Cup, Mateta's out of form. Eze's gone. I'd love them to do it. Honestly, hand on heart, I'll be supporting Palace tonight, but
we all.
I can't see it. To go back to our game anyway, let's just go back to touch on our game. George, the standard of referee in the Premier League has really, really dropped off noticeably over the last few years. I genuinely think last night hit a new low. Like for bad, just the referee, but the linesman in front of us as well.
Oh, he was absolutely horrendous. There was about half a dozen decisions that I'm like, are you watching the same game? Similar to the lino. I mean, the penalty, fair enough, they did go back and they overturned it and whatever. But my eyes aren't very good, so I can't see long distances because of my condition. So the penalty that we were supposed to have, did it look a penalty to you? Because I'm kind of going by crowd opinion at that point.
Well, I was watching it on telly. I watched it on telly, and even without an action replay, as we used to call them, showing the age there, it was a penalty even then because his arm is out and it's hitting his arm there. Now that to me is handball, and he leads with it and he defends with it. So before anything, my own field decision. But bear in mind, I don't know if I've got a better view than ref at that. I mean, surely not. Ref's there. No, and it was a blatant penalty. I don't know what your opinions are after the review and seeing it again, but that is as clear a penalty. And I don't want to support pundits, even though I got it. Everyone knew it was a penalty, and the pundits don't. They have to then try and defend it, don't they? That it wasn't given anything, but they knew it was, and that it was as clear a penalty you'll ever see. But we didn't get it, but so be it.
I just want to just jump in there, Tony, just to say that whatever view we had and whatever view the referee had, we had the same view in the replays that VAR had, and VAR didn't get. And regardless, he's leant in. It's not ball to hand. He's leant in with his arm to make sure that gets in the way.
That's what I'm saying, Dave. He's led with it. He's defended the ball with his bicep. Now, if your biceps and ball, is it how short your shirt is? I don't know. I don't know
so it's something to do with the sleeve. It's something to do with the sleeve, like where so obviously there.
That's where
that doesn't. It's anywhere there doesn't count as handball. Anywhere below here, then it's handball. So it's kind of a grey area.
But you see him, George. You see him defend it by going like that and then putting his arm out as well. It's as clear.
Yeah, if he's moved towards it, then yeah, it's a penalty. But honestly, my eyes are horrendous in terms of my sight, so I kind of go what everyone else has seen. But if it is like you're describing, then it's a joke.
After review, even Dave, what a blatant penalty to you?
At the time, obviously, I was at the other end of the ground. It looked to me like he'd leaned in. It looked to me like there was something when it said referee was checking or VAR was checking, I thought, yeah, there's clearly something there. He's clearly because he leant in, you can clearly see it. You can clearly see the way his body's gone. And I thought then it was a penalty.
Great defending with his upper arm. It was great defending with his upper arm, but I thought if it hits you there, it's a penalty. Anyway,
if we say the shirt sleeve, is a demarcation of what is and isn't handball, then why don't we just wear long sleeve shirts every week? Right. And then we'll just do what we like. And if that's we'll wear long sleeve shirts with built-in gloves, and we'll just run around bouncing the ball.
Yeah. I think Everton who got one. Everton who got one against them with Brantwaite, and it wasn't as bad, and then that's given. So I just don't understand rules no more. I really don't. They're making it up as they go along. I don't think.
Yeah, but I don't think the referees understand the rules, Tony, mate. I really don't.
Well, I don't think they do because one of our centre forward, Castellanos, got a right kick, and the referee gives the fucking geezer a fucking penalty against us. So that had to be reviewed, and then they see that he's whacked our player, but they thought he took the player. I can't remember. Was it Kearney? Who the ref thought had been took down. And what he's done is give our player a dead leg on his calf and whacked him and gone down himself. And the referee stood there and he gives him a fucking penalty. So without that, that's a penalty. And that's where we're at now with disgraceful refereeing. Honestly, I just don't know what to say no more about it. I really do. And then we get Fernandez, and I'm still debating. Even if it was a free kick, even if it was on edge of our box, I need to keep watching this because I still can't see him clearly take the player. He goes in for ball. He gets the ball. I think he still gets the ball. And the player goes over like a sack of spuds and he gives the free kick and then realises, I think, oh my God, I've already given him a yellow. I've made a mistake there, so I'll tell you what, I won't give him yellow. I mean, the letter of the law is giving him another yellow, and then we lose Fernandez. They're just ruining it at the moment. Refereeing has got so bad.
I'm so glad that I grew up in an era of like proper Premier League football, like no VAR, proper challenges, penalties were given, but not for what they're given for now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely right, mate. Absolutely. And we can go on all night about this one as well. Edmondson, he absolutely had a great game. Let's be honest about that. He
did, but he had my heart in my mouth for the last 10 seconds of that game.
Well, he did. He had my heart in my mouth when he's jumped for ball and the kid who was attacking him, he's put a soft touch on him and he's gone down and then took his feet. And I thought, that's it. We've done it again. This time it went in his favour, didn't it? Yeah. But if I'm honest, these little soft touches, did he put a bit on him? Yeah. But yeah, we got away with that one. As far as I'm concerned, we got away with that one. Because there wasn't enough on him for him to be fouled. But then the pundits have said, yeah, but he did make the contact and get his arm into him. And he did. But I'll tell you what, there's times we've not got that kind of result. Football now, as much as we love it, and we'll always love it, and we'll always go, we're relying on what kind of luck we're going to get more than ever from ref and VAR, and that's what it's about.
Yeah,
it's become that. What
sad.
do you say to it?
I've seen overweight substitutes in non-league grab a high of his bib and run the line 5 yards behind everyone else because they can't keep up. And they've done a better job than that linesman last night. That linesman last night, just every single decision he got wrong. Just every single thing. He guessed everything. It was so obvious he was guessing. And then by the end, it was so obvious he was frightened to make a decision that he didn't know what he was doing. I mean, I don't know who the referee was. I've never seen it earlier before. Obviously, we don't really keep track of linesmen anyway, but I wouldn't be surprised if
I don't know referee. I've never seen that before.
I think they've been promoted up and they're just above their station. But the thing is that if you're a championship referee now and you're a championship linesman where you don't have VAR, you have got to be a lot more in tune with the action. These referees, these officials are getting lazy. They're waiting for VAR to give them corrections. You've got this wrong. We're gonna look at this. Hold on this. We're gonna do it. Like it's like swimming with armbands on. Whereas like you don't get that in the Championship. You're out in the sea and you got to fight for survival. How have we got to a point now where like the best league in the world, quote, or the best league in the country anyway, the top teams in the country, are getting probably 3rd or 4th division referees because they've just lost all their ability to make decisions and to keep up with the game.
Yeah, but we're getting it with people. I mean, us three could sit in VAR and make a decision within 10 seconds, and then you decide if 2 go for it and 1 don't, it goes with the 2, and that's it. But this carry on that's going off at the moment, but people are turning away.
We should be doing what there is in cricket.
Football. Yeah.
Do the cricket style where you get a certain amount of strikes or lives or whatever you want to call it. And
Challenges,
if you use them up, it's done. Challenges, yeah, that's the word. And yeah, if you use them up for the wrong decision, it goes against you, you're done.
Yeah.
It's micromanaging the game.
I don't think that changes anything personally. I think you just get. They're still going to give the big clubs the benefit of the decisions. They're still going to give the managers like Arteta are still going to get what they want when they want, because referees are and PGMOL and so on, they're all in fear of them and they're not what they want. If this story's already written. Like how this Premier League pans out is already written. It's got nothing to do with what happens on the pitch. It'll be.
I would talking to John Moss. He's been he's wrecked us a few times, and he has a record. He did have anyway. Sold it. He had a record shop in Edinburgh, and I was just chatting with him. I said, "Why so many decisions against us, John?" And that's after buying records off him, because I used to hate him. And he just says, "Well, if players get in my face, if players get in my face and have a go, they're not getting no, and that's it. And I'll just make it hard for them. I'll just give them an hard time." And that even does happen at Sunday League level sometimes. And believe me, it happens at professional level as well. And that's another thing. I know it shouldn't happen, but it does. You piss a ref off, it's going to piss you off.
So in other words, Tony, he said it's his ego that got hurt, and he's just taking it out on the players.
They want the words he used. He says, if someone pisses me off and don't listen to me, he says, I'll just not make it easy for them. They were his words.
So I know the game needs them, but referees ain't the one. I'm not a fan. They're the teachers' pets at school, and they're the nerds at school.
Oh yeah, they like to have the authority, and they don't half show it at times. Sometimes, and often wrongly, unfortunately.
But regardless of how bad a referee was, and I wanted to get it off my chest, and I did want to make that point because I genuinely, I feel like I've complained a few times about referees this season, but that really was a new low. Like he really was terribly bad. I mean, the Fernandes one outside the box that you said might be the second. We thought it was probably going to be a second yellow. We was waiting for the referee giving it, but you see it back. Fernandes has won the ball and the player's kicked his leg and gone down.
That's what I'm saying.
The 2 penalties, you can make a case. It won't be if he's leaned in, it's penalty, whatever. Just the line, I've got everything wrong. Like every little decision, just every offside was wrong. Every goal kick he gave was a corner. Every corner he gave was a goal kick. He got throw-ins wrong. It's just, it was atrocious. But I do want to go back. Look, we won 1-0. It was a great. The players put in a real shift, and you see at the end of the game, like 2 things. Firstly, the fans were phenomenal yesterday. Like, really were phenomenal. Like that was the best away end I think I've been in this season. Unless my mind's playing tricks on me and I'm forgetting something. It was superb. I tell you, I was filming Marshy's fan cam, right, when we come out, and I couldn't hear a word. And you can see how close I am if you watch the fan cam. I couldn't hear a word they were saying because all I could hear was the fans behind me singing. I don't know. I call it obviously. Like, I've watched Marshy's fan cam. You don't pick it up on it, but I was deafened. Like I didn't pick up one word of anything Nicky or Marshy said, and the only reason I knew when to press stop was because Marshy walked away. Like it was absolutely deafening there from the fans, and the fans have like, we've got to keep that going as supporters. We carry that. We take that responsibility. We do this going forward.
mate,
if we can do it at home games, if we could do it at home games as well, all the better. I think we're going to struggle at home games. The problem at home, obviously, those fans get dispersed throughout the ground, and you don't have that kind of small concentration. It's us against the world. All of a sudden, we are the world. So it is difficult to get. I get that, but certainly in the away games, when we go to like Palace, when we go to Newcastle, these are places where Brentford, especially, we need to be really on the ball. We need to Villa. I mean, Villa are starting like they're wavering right now. That's somewhere we could look at and go, if we put them on this, if we put this on Villa, I mean, we'll talk about Villa nearer the time. But right now, if you're looking at it, look at the form Villa are in. Why can't we go there? Why can't we put it on them? Why can't we, be loud, be proud, motivate, inspire the team, and go put the team to because last night you couldn't fault a single one. I said it in my fact. I thought Disasi's passing was off. Like Disasi, he was solid defensively. Did the job of a centre half, the old school centre half, but his passing was wayward. It was shocking. And if you want to have one more criticism.
A few more were wayward with passing. Overall, we had to pass a fair bit, and a few didn't make the way.
But the other criticism I had at a game, if there was one, is that Tati and Wilson clearly don't have a partnership yet. Whereas for Tati and Felipe, it felt like Pablo, it felt like something's coming together. I watched them last night. Tati and Wilson were kind of making runs in the same space. There were times when like Wilson wanted to make a run, Tati wanted to make a run, and they weren't releasing the ball because it was almost like they weren't quite used to playing the two up top, and they weren't quite used to how they were gonna make that work. So going forward, obviously, if Pablo's back, and I've heard that Pablo's going to be back possibly for Brentford.
Bad news.
He's gonna be a huge boost to have back because
massive.
He's not gonna take up that space. He's gonna let Tati go and have that. He's gonna drop deep. We've seen that. Right, I think that's gonna be a huge boost. But, and I've said this before, I'll say this again, I'll repeat this, I'm blue in the face. Wilson cannot start games of football. Wilson's best, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, mayhem. Like the old style Ramones gigs. Get him on, 20 minutes of energy. Just go for it. Just go and do what you do best at 20. Don't manage your fitness. You don't need to. You've got 20 minutes, Callum. We know you've got it in the legs. Just go get on teams. Go get defenders. Like, and this is because like if I don't want to criticise this too much, but if we'd have put him on for 20 minutes last night, obviously we don't have depth in the squad to do it. And I appreciate that I'm contradicting myself here. But just say for a second, we bought Wilson on with 20 minutes ago. We had years of watching Issa Diop fold under pressure because he doesn't like it when centre halves are on him and they're busy. Wilson would have been perfect last night. Yeah. Wilson would have been perfect last night for that.
Yeah, he would. I was buzzing when Diop come on, but he had it a bit easy, didn't he? I'll tell you who needs to be coming on. Young Josh Ajala. He's been on fire.
Yeah.
That's what we're needing. We're needing some energy up there. We're needing some fitness up there. This kid's crying out to get in. I don't think has he been on our bench yet?
He was an unused sub against, but I'm going to be honest, Tony, I watch a lot of the 21s. And Ajala is a good kind of fox in the box type at that level. And he'll score goals.
Yeah.
But he is improving on his work outside the box. You can see it. He's dropping deeper now. He's trying to get a bit more involved in the build-up. He's trying to do a bit more. But he's got a long way to go to be Premier League ready. Like I would, personally for me, I think he would fit. I would send him to a League Two side next year.
Yeah.
Give him minutes. If he goes and tops the goal scoring charts, great. We got a player. If he doesn't, then he's going to learn a long, hard lesson for a season about men's football. It's going to stand him in good stead. But I'm not. If anything, Callum Marshall was and will be, I think, a better player than Josh Ajala. And obviously, he's out on loan at the moment at Bochum in Germany. So I don't know how he's getting on. I haven't checked, but hopefully he's doing well. Hopefully he's learning valuable lessons. Going to stand him well in good stead if he comes back next season. Because God knows, I don't want to go too much into this now, but we're not going much of a transfer kitty, and we are going to need to start looking for answers within this squad.
I just think these players like Marshall, like Ajala, at 19, 20 years old and these kind of ages, even at Premiership level, I still think they need bringing on for the last 10. There's games there for them, and I don't think we do it enough. You know,
I agree.
we've started a little bit with certain players, as we all know they are, but we need to be doing this more and more and more. Young Ollie, he'll get a game, obviously, against Brentford. You know, and he's developing and he's getting there. And they need to just keep working on this more instead of just, you're not going to make it with West Ham, we're going to ship you out, or they decide to go somewhere else because agent ships them out. It pisses you off because we have got a great academy, but you know, success-wise, it's not been greatly successful for a good few years, has it?
The problem is, Tony, is that PSR rules say that if you sell these players, 100% profit. They're all going to go. They've got to, because if you can get 2 or 3 million quid for a kid,
yeah,
that's on the books now. That's pure profit. That's the way football's gone. It's a disgrace. Personally, I think if you can produce a player, bearing in mind the money in football, bearing in mind the money that academy players get paid, if you can produce a player and he's been in your academy from the age of, say, 14, just as an arbitrary number, but obviously this can be revised later on, they shouldn't count towards PSR. Whatever wages you pay them shouldn't count towards towards those rules, because then you're going to see clubs start to develop. You know, then you're not going to see, like, and this was my biggest bugbear, and I've said this so many times on fan cams, that, you know, the 21s, Lewis Orford has absolutely run games, right? That kid, I've been watching the 21s for 10 years, right? That kid is the best player I've seen play academy football, right? The best player I've seen, not even close. The kid can do, like, his vision, his ability to pass. He's a Steven Gerrard type player. He'll get forward and score goals. He can drop deep into that, you know, and spray 50-yard diagonal balls. Good at set pieces. Like, the kid's got everything to be a top midfielder. And all the minutes we wasted on Guido Rodriguez, we wasted on Andy Irving, you know,
it's disgraceful.
They learned nothing from it. We got nothing from it. You know, Irving, to be fair, did show some moments of skill, but obviously at 26 years old, he was never going to make. But he wasn't offering nothing that you couldn't give a kid to, you know. And it's just, it's infuriating. It's a complete waste of wages. And this is where I think football's gone wrong. I think football's gone off the scale a little bit with that. George, what do you think?
Am I imagining it, or is there a quota for homegrown players that needs to be in the squad?
Homegrown means come from an academy in England. It doesn't mean like players come from the academy.
Fair enough. Cool, that answers that one. But yeah, the amount, like Lewis Orford, like you said, I thought going to Stevenage, looking back, it was a stupid move, because Stevenage are very direct, they're physical, they're pretty much Stoke in 2007, but just a little bit better. But he's not going to run games for them. They're not that kind of club. So you'd have been better off getting, I don't like modern football, but you'd be better off getting almost a feeder club, but like a lower league one or a non-league one, just to get them first team football, even if it's non-league for a couple of months, because you can get short loans out in non-league. You don't have to be 6 months or a year loan. We need to be using that more. We need to be using places on the bench more. Like you said, the amount of games this season we've had Guido Rodriguez and Andy Irving on the pitch or on the bench, it could be going to the youth players. It could be going to the young kids. If not getting them on the pitch, getting them around a first-team environment for a game that means something. Because we all know that academy football means nothing. It means something to their development, but nothing in the grand scheme of things.
2 things I want to point out quickly. There's 2 things I really want to say on this. Number 1, I've just Googled this in a separate window. Do you know when Lewis Orford joined Stevenage?
Deadline day.
Stevenage have had their pre-season. They've started the season well. They're 4 games in. They've won. I think they won their first 4. Suddenly, this kid comes in from West Ham. Unbelievable player, right? He's more than good enough to play League One. But you've now got a settled side that's winning games. You're not going to break that up. You know, as a manager, no manager's going to do that. Yeah, no manager is going to break up a settled side to integrate a young kid that might last. We had an option to recall him in January. So if he goes in and does well, we could have recalled him and into a championship side. That's the way it was shaping up, I think. So we bought not just him, but Caden Casey went out late in the window. We should have had these loan moves lined up early in the summer. That mean they go into the start pre-season, they get a chance to impress the manager, they get a chance to earn their place at the start, and we didn't do that.
Who's the loan manager for us, by the way?
Colton Cole. Potter bottled it. That was Potter's call. Potter didn't know what he wanted to do with his squad, and he kept everyone in the door until the last day of the window when he went, actually, do you know what? I would let some of these kids go. And I am not Graham Potter's biggest fan. I called him gormless a long time before. But that really hits that at home. Second point I really want to make is the politics of this, right? I can tell you now, having watched him in the 21s, that La Madrid is not standing out. If you're paying £1 million for a player and you put him in 21s football, he's got to look like a real good prospect to go to the Premier League, yeah? He looks poor.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't look like he fits into 21 football, let alone Premier League. And who was on the bench last night at Fulham?
He did against Burton. I didn't think he stood up then as well. And I know, obviously, it's one game when you're not been in the country that long, so I feel cool giving him another chance. But obviously, you watch a lot of the academy. I don't tend to watch youth team football. But if you're saying that, it does marry up to what I saw at Burton.
But this is the politics of it. But because you've got this player in, and because you're not going to pay wages to that player, this is like Max Kilman. Like, I don't think there's a case to say that Ezra May shouldn't be our fourth choice centre half ahead of Max Kilman. But who's on the bench? If we need a full centre half, who's coming on? Because we paid £40 million for him, and we're paying 70 or 80 grand a week, or whatever his wages are, and they need to justify that. They need to justify that. So this is the politics coming into play. This is nothing to do with football ability. This is nothing to do with how good these kids are or they're not.
Totally agree.
This is about sporting directors and transfers and recruitment gurus going, look, we're going to look bad if you don't play this guy. So we need you to play this guy.
Well, Mosley was a classic example, wasn't he, when he fucked us over with Calvin Phillips. We were at Newcastle, fucked us over, we lost game. We played in first half against Burnley, fucked us up, it was shit. We were 2-0 down. He's been shit everywhere else he's gone. But he had to play him to justify it, and it got that bad. He didn't play him no more. He got that bad, didn't he? But yeah, that's back to politics, Dave. I agree with politics of football. That's what they do. They have to do it to justify the money that they've spent on them or why they've brought them in. And like you say, Kilman. I won't bring Kilman on. I'd have the young Maisie. I'd bring him in games when we need him. I won't bring Kilman on. He's not been good enough. He has been poor. He's been really poor. We've got a young, hungry kid who can play centre half, Mays. And he's a good player. Honestly, players adapt. Look at Antonio. He ended up our centre forward. Look at Arnautovic. He ended up our centre forward. He was a right winger. So that's the good things that Moisey did with players we brought in. But yeah, I totally agree with you on politics of football.
Yeah, Mayers was a centre half for the academy. He played left sided centre half.
Yeah,
left side of the back. Left sided centre
also,
half.
they're rare as well. Decent ball playing left sided centre halves, they're rare. I take it if he's left sided, he's left footed, and he's not just been put there like Tadibo was.
No, I think he's left footed.
Yeah, so they are like rocking horse put, aren't they? You're paying like Kilman's a prime example. Kilman is a bog standard centre back in the Premier League, and he's going for 40 million because you can play with your left foot. Everyone knows they're rarer. What's the word? There's not as many of them left-footed players in the league, unless you're a winger, compared to right-footed players. If you've got a decent one, then they're going to be worth more, aren't they?
True. Right, let's move this conversation on to Brentford. Because we've got about 15 minutes left, and I want to kind of roll this all a bit. You should say that your fan came, George, last night. I think a lot of people have discussed and debated that you would prefer to win the FA Cup. You would take the FA Cup and go down over survival with no choice.
Absolutely, and I stand by it even now. Because 10 years time, we finish 17th and we get knocked out in the round of 16 against Brentford, or is it quarter final?
We're in the
if you
fifth round.
If we win, I think.
This is the fifth round.
But either way, right? So even if
quarters.
we go out to Brentford and we stay up in 17th, who's going to remember that? 10 years' time, you win the FA Cup and go down, everyone's going to remember that. I'd take going down in a heartbeat. You ask Wigan fans. Yes, they're now rotted in League One, but they took on Man City and beat them. That's the first major trophy in their history, I believe. Like,
I think it's their only major trophy in their history.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest. Tony, where do you stand on this debate? Let me ask you first. Let me bring you in. Tony, where do you stand on the...
Well, regarding Brentford in FA Cup, do I want us to win FA Cup? Of course I do. Do I want us to stay up? Of course I do. What do I want more? I don't want more. I want us to stay up and I want us to win FA Cup. So I want both. So to get both, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to bottle this one. I would field the strongest side possible on Monday night and go through. And I'm certain we will.
Yep.
I really would go for it because they've had plenty of rest till then. The fit athletes. I'm not going to start thinking, what if he gets injured and wrapping him up? He's a fucking footballer. Get out and play your game. And this is what we need to be doing. I think, the strongest starting lineup, whether it's Hermanson or Areola in net, that's only change. If there were any changes, I won't moan it because there's not a lot between them. Buzzing with his saves last night, as I said. I'd go with full strength and go for them and beat them. When we've got the game won, which I think we would, could be wrong on it, then I'd start making changes and I'd have a lot of tasty reserves in there, some from academy. That's how I feel about it.
I'm with you. I would love us to win the FA Cup and stay up. However, I want it's clear, right? I completely sympathise and I understand where you come from, George, in respect of this ship is sinking, and it's sinking fast, and it's going to be a miracle if we can keep this afloat in the Premier League going into the 2027-2028 season. Yeah, if we're a Premier League club and we've maintained Premier League survival this year and next year, I will be amazed. However, I do think if you look at the state of the club right now that it's been run into, and I get it, like, if we're going to go down and we're going to have this like horrendous future, one moment of glory. Let's have something we can cling to. Let's have one moment we can enjoy. We could all dance down Wembley Way together. It would be fantastic. It beat Prague probably for me, but I don't want to look back in 10 years. And I think I said these words in my fan cam. I want the next 10 years to be us thinking we could win a trophy, we could win a cup. And I don't want us to go into the next 10 years going, wouldn't it be nice if we just got a big team in the draw? Because that's going to be our future. And I would sacrifice, I will happily now. And I think you have to give some of your backup players some match fitness, and you're going to do that against Brentford. I would definitely drop and rest as many of these players as I can, just to protect from injuries, just to protect from suspensions, so that nothing silly happens. If we get through, if Brentford do the same thing because they're chasing Europe and they're like, look, we can have a really good league finish and maybe get Conference League in 7th rather than... Because don't forget as well, if we get through, there's a good chance we get Liverpool and Man City next and Arsenal. Yeah, we go out anyway. But I would rather be in a position where we've got survival. Well, yeah, when we're going into Man City with a fully fresh, fully fit team, no injuries, no suspensions, than going into Man City going, well, we got that win against Brentford, but it came at a cost because Bowen's out.
Yeah, but mate, no one expects us to beat Man City, least of all me. So I don't think we're going to get anything out of that anyway. So you might as well go full strength against Brentford.
Yeah, but I don't Forest wanted to get anything last night. Or I thought Forest thought they'd get anything last night. And look, they got a 2-2 draw in the Etihad. So
we want to win FA Cup, and that's it. So we want to win it. So go full strength. Just go out and you can't play football thinking. Otherwise, Dave, you're going to be playing weaker sides at times and think, nah, I'm going to rest him because this is an easier game. But You can't guarantee it's going to be an easier game. We put a weak side out. We don't know what they're going to do. We should concentrate on what we're going to do when we want to win that match. And if we want to win that match, we put the full strength out and go beat them. We'll deal with City on Saturday. And you're going on about ifs. You're speculating, Dave. You're speculating if we get injuries. What if we don't? And we go knock Brentford out and we've got a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we go play City. We'll still be as fit against City. If we don't, you're saying if we do, what if we don't? Then we're through, and then we go City, full strength squad. We've got to go win, Dave.
All right, so got it. You two, give me your team selections. And if we go full strength, well, bear in mind because you have to give at some point. Hold on, Tony. At some point, you are going to need to give minutes to players to keep them fresh and keep them fit and keep them motivated. So you are going to have to make some changes, and you are going to have to give some players some minutes. So well, it's up to you. Actually, you do what you want. So go on, you two can name your team.
I'll do mine first, and then Tony, you go on. Ariola in goal, because I don't think he's too far off being number one in it anyway. So if you are going to rotate, fair enough. Wan-Bissaka starts for me. Like you said, Kilman's probably going to start. I wouldn't, but he probably will. Mav, them two I wouldn't have too many qualms about.
Are you picking Kilman?
George? Yeah, George, this is your team. Who are you picking if you're manager?
Right, if I'm the manager, Tadibo and Mav. I think them two have good chemistry. And then maybe even go back three and maybe bring in... Because like you said, you've got to bring in certain players to give him match fitness. So maybe go back three, bring in Kilman on the left-hand side, then play Juve as a wing-back, because Walker Peters can't really play as a wing-back. He's more of a full-back. Then in midfield two, Potsy, he hasn't played in a while, and I think he's first team quality. And Fernandez, and then Bowen, Jimmy, and if he's fit, Pablo. If not, then Tay.
You make any changes from that, Tone?
I'd have Wan-Bissaka as right back. I'd have Juve as left back. I'd have to think a little bit more before game started, but it's a combination of Mavropanos, Disasi and Tadibo. I'd be playing Bowen. I'd be playing Somerville. I'd be playing Tay. Just something about that Ajala, I might want him on bench. I don't know, or maybe Wilson. And then I'd be pulling out the best side that I could. Basically, what we've been playing, but we've got. Have we got Pablo back? Have we got Pablo back Monday?
There's rumours that he could be in the squad.
Yeah, and if he, I'd love that because I'd definitely have him in. We've enough there in locker. We really have that. I'd be going out with as strong as I could, really, to go beat them. I really would. I wouldn't go with what you said, George, and you've got to give, and Dave said same, you've got to give these players a chance. We've got to win a game, and that's my priority. So I'd be looking at fielding a stronger squad, and I'd be having a word with captain, and I'd be saying to Jared, we've got to get through this game, Jared. What are you thinking on side? So if I were Gaffer, I'd be having a word with Jared Bowen, his captain. What do you want, Jared, to win this squad? Do you want to step out of it? Do you think you can put someone in? Do you want Traore in your place on right wing? I think he'll say, fuck off, Gaffer. He's taking piss. That's what I think he'd say. But there's two ways of doing it. You can fuck about which side, or you can go out and beat them with a squad good enough to go beat Brentford. And that's what we need to do. And we all know what that side is. So if we're going to start, like you both said, giving players chances, then we're giving Brentford chances. I'm aware that they're likely to do the same and give players chances. If we put our best side out and they give players chances, I do not see how we are going out of cup. Then we're going to speculate. Is it at a cost? We'll find out. But the professional footballers, you go out and play football. Get on with it. I just can't help feeling so strong about this. Honestly, I can't. We need to go out and go win it, and we need to put as strong a side out as possible.
See, I would go heavily rotated. I would go Areola, Walker-Peters, Disasi, Mayers. I would go Disasi, Kilman, Mayers at left back. Then I would go Potts, Mugasa, holding midfield. I'll go Orford in a 10. I'm going to be a little bit maverick on that. Skulls left wing. Adama right wing because he needs to justify his wages. And then up top, if he's fit, I'll give Pablo minutes. And if he's not, I suppose it's Wilson. But
other than my starting lineup, like you've said, Dave, with some cracking subs that I would have in there, with some right players to switch what I've said. You know, Orford straight away. You know, Myers at left back, definitely he can do a job there. You know, so but I'd go with strongest and then bring them on if needed. We want to go win game, then change it and bring all these lads that you've said would need chances, but go win game and then. You know, we've not got a bad squad. We really haven't, you know. But we need to win game. But I understand you both, but you're messing with side, and we've messed with side before, and we haven't looked good, have we? We haven't looked great.
The question I'll put to both of you before we wrap this up, though, is what sort of side do you think Brentford will put out? Because they don't have the squad depth. I genuinely think that.
No, I think they'll put a shit side out. I think they'll put a shit side out. And if we do, not going to say we've got a shit side, I don't want to disrespect us, but let's go win the game and change it in second half. You know, if we put our best out and they don't, they're not going to know what we're going to start with. We put a big side out to really go at them. We're good enough to do it. We really are. And we need to be doing this and playing regular and good because we get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, as I've said, and we're going to play safe. But we can't speculate on who might get injured and who might not. Let's go win the game. We're in quarterfinals. We're a win away from semi-finals then. I can't help but feel we have to go out and win it with the squad that will go win it. I get what you're saying, Dave. They might put half a side out, and they probably will. But I think if that's the case, we put a full side out and we'll go beat them. Feel really strong about it this time.
I get that, and I know Nick is keen on you know that this run started, you know, because of winning the cup against QPR and that kickstarted us. And I can understand it. I get it. Like I said, I understand exactly how people feel with regards to like wanting to win the FA Cup, and I get how people feel with regards to like it prioritising it over survival because of the glory. So I get that, but I still. No one said anything yet that persuades me that we need to go full strength. Sorry, boys.
All right, okay, yeah. We need to go full strength against City as well. Like when you play football, you got to be full strength every time.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go to City. We are fully fresh. You know, absolutely rested Jared Bowen, Somerville. I know I've said I'll start.
Mate, let's not lie about it. Bowen had 10 days off for the Burton game and he's not been the same player since. So I don't think not starting him in one game is going to make too much of a difference.
No, but let's give him a bit more rest. If we can afford to give him a bit of a rest, let's give him a bit of a rest.
Well, I think he will get a rest because I don't think he's going to start. I think he'll start half a side. That's what he'll do. Right. And listen, if he starts half a side and we get through, that's fantastic as well. I know if he started side, I'd start. We'll get through. I'm absolutely certain of that. But we'll find out what we want to start.
If Brentford go full strength, I don't think they will. I'll caveat that. I don't think Brentford will go full strength. I think their focus is on the league. I think they're looking at that league and thinking, if we win the FA Cup, I can't remember what the FA Cup price, but I think it's about 2-3 million. They'll think we get more than that for just going up a place in the league. So, and they're going to be focusing on European football for the league position anyway. But neither here nor there. Tony, what's your score prediction then for Brentford on Monday night? Are you going?
Well, no, I can't get there. I'm going to give you two predictions on a mixed side. On a mixed side, 2-1 Brentford. On side I'd pick, 3-0 West Ham.
This is the hard thing to call it because we don't know how Brentford are going to line up. George, what's your prediction? We'll go Tony saying 3-0. Tony's been optimistic.
Hang on. Tony, 3-0. There's optimistic and then there's delusional.
No, that's
I hope you're right.
That's the full strength West Ham side, George.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. But we barely scraped past Fulham. But yeah, anyway, I'll say 2-1 West Ham. If we go with a team that I've picked, 2-1 West Ham. If not, I think it's going to be a hard night. Is it extra time and penalties or is it a replay?
Extra time and penalties.
Yeah.
That could be
There are no
another
replays.
extra time job. Of course there ain't. Yeah, thanks, Man City. But yeah, I think it could be another extra time job if he does rotate the squad because I can't see Brentford putting out a full team. I really can't.
So we go full
I'm gonna
strength and
say-
beat them.
I mean, I would.
We'll see.
I've laid my team. I'm rotating. I reckon a rotated team is good enough to squeak a 1-0 win. So I'm going to say 1-0 West Ham.
Well, you're gambling,
Let's hope so.
Dave. You're gambling. You said squeak a 1-0 win. I'd rather get one comfortable and then get the game won, bring them all off, put the weakest in. Bring the players who need a game, after we've got the game done. Bring the gaffers
No,
on
Tony,
first.
I will take the squeak. Give me a squeaky 1-0 with a rotated side. That is the dream. That is what I live for. A squeaky 1-0 with a heavily rotated side.
We'll see.
Right. Tony, George, it's been a pleasure, boys. Thank you for your company for the last hour. And
You
last thing
too,
to say,
boys.
come on, you irons.
Come on, you
Can you
Irons.
eyes?